The night sky had always been a canvas of wonder for humanity. People had gazed at stars for thousands of years, imagining distant worlds and unseen civilizations. Yet nothing could prepare the world for the message that would arrive one quiet evening in the year 2147. At the Global Space Observatory, in the cold steel halls lined with blinking monitors and humming machines, Dr. Alara Tovey leaned over a console, her eyes wide with disbelief. The signal had appeared on the deep space receiver only moments ago, a faint series of pulses that repeated with impossible precision. "Captain Vale," she called out, her voice trembling slightly, "you need to see this. It's not random." Captain Aaron Vale, a man in his early 40s with a reputation for calm under pressure, stepped over. He had led many space missions, but something about this signal made the air feel heavier, as if the universe itself were holding its breath. Ilara pointed to the screen. "We ran it through every algorithm, every filter. It's clean, there's no interference, and the message—" She paused, swallowing hard. "It's in plain language." Aaron leaned closer. The letters, formed by a simple sequence of pulses, appeared on the screen like glowing ink in the darkness. "We'll return." The words were short, yet they carried a weight heavier than any asteroid. For a moment, silence filled the room. Outside, the world went on, oblivious to the revelation unfolding in the observatory. Aaron's mind raced. Who had sent the message? And why now, after centuries of solitude in the stars? Ilara tapped the console nervously. "The transmission came from outside our galaxy, at least 4 million light-years away. It's impossible for us to reach them with current technology, but somehow they reached us." Aaron nodded slowly, his gaze moving to the massive windows overlooking the night sky. The stars stretched endlessly, distant and indifferent, or so it had seemed until now. Something had changed. "Prepare a team," Aaron ordered. "We need to understand this. We need to find out why they say they'll return." Within days, the world knew. News outlets broadcast the mysterious message, sparking wonder and fear in equal measure. Social media exploded with theories. Some said it was a warning. Others believed it was an invitation. Governments debated quietly behind closed doors, while ordinary people stared at the sky, imagining the faces of beings who might exist light-years away. Meanwhile, at the observatory, strange anomalies began to appear. At first they were subtle. Astronomers noticed certain stars seemed to shift slightly from one night to the next, as though moving ever so slowly along invisible lines. Ilara studied the data obsessively. "It's not a glitch," she said to Aaron one evening, eyes red from lack of sleep. "The stars, they're moving. Look at this pattern." Aaron examined the charts, tracing the lines with his finger. The movements were deliberate, forming intricate patterns that defied natural explanation. "It's almost like they're trying to draw something," he whispered. "What could it mean?" Ilara asked. Aaron shook his head. "I don't know. But we're looking at the first sign that the universe itself might be speaking to us." As weeks passed, the movements grew more apparent. Amateur astronomers reported shifts in constellations they had studied for decades. Observatories around the world confirmed the phenomenon. Stars were moving, not randomly, but in patterns that suggested intelligence. On Earth, reactions were mixed. Some people panicked, believing that the stars' movements were a precursor to disaster. Others felt hope, thinking that humanity had finally caught the attention of a civilization advanced enough to communicate across galaxies. At the observatory, Aaron's team worked tirelessly. They discovered that the stars' motion formed lines pointing toward a distant cluster of stars near the galactic core, a place no human had ever explored. The realization sent shivers down their spines. The universe was vast, and humanity had always considered itself small, but now The smallness felt even more acute. One evening, while observing the stars through a massive telescope, Aaron thought he saw something impossible. A faint shimmer appeared near the edge of the galactic core, like a ripple in space itself. He blinked and rubbed his eyes. When he looked again, the shimmer was gone. "Elara," he said, voice tight. "Did you see that?" She turned from her console. "See what?" "That, over there, near the core. A shimmer. Something moved." Elara's fingers flew across her keyboard. "It's too far for any human craft. Even light would take millions of years to travel that distance. If it's real—" Her voice trailed off. Aaron didn't need her to finish. He felt it deep in his chest. The universe was trying to communicate, and humanity had just begun to understand. The following day, the observatory received a second signal. It was faint but unmistakable, repeating the same message. "We'll return." The world felt it collectively, as if a quiet tremor had passed through every mind. Governments convened emergency meetings. The United Earth Council debated whether to prepare defenses or seek peaceful communication. Aaron argued for caution and understanding. "We cannot assume hostility. They reached out to us. That alone is proof of intelligence and, perhaps, wisdom." Public fascination continued to grow. People left their cities to watch the stars, hoping for a glimpse of the movement that no telescope could fully capture. Some wrote poems, others composed music, inspired by the silent, shifting lights of the cosmos. Humanity felt small, yet connected in a way that had never been possible before. Then, something unexpected happened. On a clear night, millions of eyes across Earth witnessed the impossible. The stars themselves began to shift in real time. Entire constellations moved slightly, creating geometric shapes that glowed faintly against the black sky. The patterns were subtle at first, but unmistakable, almost like someone was drawing a message across the heavens. Elara and Aaron stared in awe from the observatory's main deck. "It's beautiful," she whispered, "and deliberate. Someone or something is trying to guide us." Aaron nodded, his jaw tight with a mix of fear and wonder. "We need to follow it. We need to understand where it leads." The world watched in silent anticipation as the patterns continued night after night. Conspiracy theories and speculation ran rampant, but Aaron and his team focused on the science, charting every movement with painstaking accuracy. It became clear that the star's motion formed a trail, a map of sorts, leading toward an uncharted region near the heart of the galaxy. Humanity's first instinct was fear, but curiosity, that eternal spark of human nature, burned brighter. Elara finally voiced what everyone was thinking. "If this is a guide, it could be an invitation, a way to reach something beyond our imagination." Aaron's eyes glimmered with determination. "Then we must answer it. Not with weapons or fear, but with courage and curiosity. Humanity has always looked to the stars. Now the stars are looking back." That night, as Aaron stepped outside the observatory, he gazed up at the moving stars. For the first time, the sky did not feel distant or cold. It felt alive. The universe was vast and unknowable. But in its depth, it offered a promise that whoever had sent the message would indeed return, and that humanity might one day meet them among the stars. In the quiet of the night, the words echoed in Aaron's mind. "We'll return." And for the first time in history, humanity did not feel alone. The stars continued to move, and somewhere deep in the galaxy, a signal waited for those brave enough to follow. The days after the message, "We'll return," had been received were filled with a mix of excitement and tension. Humanity had never experienced anything like this before. For the first time, the stars were not just distant lights in the sky. They were signs, guiding humanity toward something unknown. At the Global Space Observatory, Dr. Elara Tovey and Captain Aaron Vale worked tirelessly. The shifting stars formed intricate patterns, and for weeks, no one had been able to make sense of them. Until now. "Ilara, look at this," Aaron said one morning, pointing to the latest charts on the holographic display. The lines connecting the stars were forming a geometric pattern unlike anything astronomers had ever seen. Triangles, hexagons, and arcs intersected across the galaxy. It was as if someone or something was deliberately drawing a map in the heavens. Ilara leaned closer. "It's not random. The stars are moving with purpose. And look here," she said, highlighting a cluster near the galactic core. "The path seems to lead somewhere far beyond our reach." Aaron's brow furrowed. "Do you realize what this means? They aren't just sending a message, they're giving us directions, a trail. And it's pointing to the galactic core?" Ilara nodded slowly. "Yes, and the speed of the star's movement. It's subtle, but consistent. It's almost like a clock, a guide for civilizations that are able to follow it." The realization sent ripples of awe through the observatory. Humanity had long imagined contact with intelligent life, but this was different. This was not a fleeting signal. This was a cosmic invitation. Meanwhile, across the world, people were noticing the changes in the sky. Amateur astronomers, stargazing enthusiasts, and even children looking out of windows reported stars moving in ways they had never seen. Constellations subtly shifted, creating patterns that seemed to pulse with quiet intelligence. In the United Earth Council, leaders debated the implications. Some pushed for caution, arguing that the stars might be a trap or a warning of danger. Others saw it as an opportunity, proof that humanity was being called to a larger stage in the galaxy. Aaron stood before the council, his voice steady and calm. "We cannot let fear guide us. The message, 'We'll return,' is not a threat. It is a promise. The stars are not attacking us. They are guiding us. We must study, understand, and when the time comes, follow them." The council listened intently. Some nodded, inspired by Aaron's words. Others remained skeptical, concerned about the risks of venturing so far from Earth. But a plan began to take shape. Humanity would follow the map the stars were forming, using every technological and scientific resource available. Back at the observatory, Ilara continued her calculations. She discovered that the stars' positions were not only changing, but also forming repeating sequences, like a cosmic language. Each movement corresponded to a coordinate, a direction pointing further into the galaxy. "This is more than a trail," she said one evening, rubbing her tired eyes. "It's a message embedded in movement. Someone designed this for civilizations like ours to decode." Aaron nodded, staring out at the night sky. "It's like a test. Only those who notice, who pay attention, can follow it." As the weeks passed, the stars' movement became impossible to ignore. Telescopes tracked the shifts in real time. Scientists and mathematicians around the world confirmed that the patterns were deliberate. The movement was intelligent, precise, and purposeful. But as the excitement grew, so did the tension. Unexplained cosmic phenomena began to appear along the path indicated by the stars. Massive energy bursts, strange gravitational waves, and faint, shimmering lights in the void suggested that the path was not just a map. It was a journey filled with dangers and wonders beyond human understanding. Aaron assembled a team of experts to prepare for the journey. Among them were navigators, physicists, engineers, and linguists. Each was chosen not only for their skill, but for their ability to remain calm under pressure. Humanity's first interstellar expedition would require courage, intelligence, and unity. "We have to be ready for anything," Aaron told the team during their first briefing. "The stars are guiding us, but we don't know what lies ahead. It could be beauty, knowledge, or challenges we cannot yet imagine. Our mission is to follow, to learn, and to survive." Ilara joined him, holding a tablet filled with the latest star movement data. "The patterns suggest a location near the galactic core," she explained. "It's far beyond our fastest spacecraft. Even light would take millions of years to reach it. But the movement of the stars is giving us directions. If we can interpret them correctly, we may be able to find a way there faster than we ever thought possible." The team worked day and night, studying the stars, simulating the path, and testing theoretical propulsion methods that could make the journey feasible. The world watched and waited, filled with anticipation and hope. Humanity had always dreamed of touching the stars, but now the stars themselves were calling. Then, a new anomaly appeared. Observatories worldwide detected a subtle shift in the background radiation near the path of the moving stars. It was faint, almost imperceptible, but consistent. Some described it as a cosmic shimmer, a flicker in space-time that suggested something was moving ahead of humanity, preparing for their arrival. Ilara studied the readings. "This isn't natural. The energy patterns are organized. Someone or something is already out there." Aaron clenched his fists. "We are not alone, and we are being watched." Despite the risks, humanity's determination grew stronger. The world united in ways it never had before. Scientists shared data freely, engineers collaborated across borders, and leaders agreed to a global plan for the first interstellar mission. Public interest soared. People built small observatories in their backyards, recorded the movements of the stars, and shared their observations online. Children learned about the galactic map as part of their school lessons. For the first time, humanity's gaze turned outward as one collective community. One night, while tracking the stars from the observatory, Aaron and Ilara noticed something extraordinary. A faint shimmer appeared along the path indicated by the stars. It looked like a ripple in space itself, moving slowly toward the galactic core. "Ilara, do you see that?" Aaron whispered. She nodded. "It's real. The stars are pointing toward it. It's waiting for us." The team realized that the shimmer was not just a visual effect. It was a gateway, a point where space and energy seemed to bend and flow differently. The moving stars were guiding humanity toward it, as if showing the first step in a journey that would change their understanding of the universe. Ilara's voice trembled with excitement. "This is it. This is what they meant. We'll return." They left us a path, a trail, a guide, and now it's up to us to follow it. Aaron's gaze was steady, filled with resolve. "Then we prepare. Humanity has always looked to the stars. Now we will follow them, and whatever awaits, we will face it together." As the night deepened, the stars continued their slow, deliberate movement. Patterns formed, pointing the way toward the distant galactic core. The world watched, holding its collective breath. For the first time in history, humanity felt truly connected to the universe, not as observers but as participants. The stars were moving, the message was clear, and the path was set. Somewhere far beyond the reach of any telescope, something waited, something intelligent, ancient, and aware. And now, humanity had the choice to follow the trail the stars had left, stepping boldly into the unknown. The first step of the journey would not be easy. There would be mysteries, dangers, and challenges that no human mind could yet comprehend. But Aaron, Ilara, and the team knew one truth above all. The universe had called, and humanity would answer. And as the stars slowly shifted in the night sky, forming lines and shapes that only the brave could interpret, the world felt a spark of hope unlike any it had ever known. Somewhere deep in the galaxy, a presence observed humanity's reaction. It had left the message long ago, not to warn, but to prepare. And now, at last, humanity had begun to follow the path. The stars continued to move, and with every movement, They whispered a promise. We'll return. And now, you will follow. The world had never prepared for something like this. The stars were moving, pointing the way to the unknown, and humanity had decided to follow. At the heart of this effort was the Star Voyager, the largest and most advanced spacecraft ever built. It was humanity's first true interstellar vessel, designed to reach the distant cluster near the galactic core, guided by the movement of the stars. Captain Aaron Vale stood on the bridge, looking out at the vast blackness of space. The stars outside were more than points of light. They were markers, each one a step on a path no human had ever traveled. Beside him, Dr. Alara Tovey ran final calculations on the trajectory. "The path is stable," she reported. "If we follow the star map accurately, we should arrive at the gateway in a matter of months, much faster than traditional travel would allow." Aaron nodded. "Then we leave at first light. Humanity is watching, and we cannot fail." The crew of the Star Voyager was small but diverse. Engineers, navigators, scientists, and linguists, all selected for their skill, their courage, and their ability to work together under pressure. Among them was Lieutenant Kieran Soule, the chief engineer, whose knowledge of propulsion systems was unmatched, Dr. Sienna Rao, an expert in cosmic phenomena, and Jalen Marks, the linguist and historian, who studied ancient patterns and symbols, always looking for meaning in chaos. As the countdown began, the world held its breath. People gathered in cities, towns, and villages, staring at the sky. Television and communication networks carried every moment of the launch live. Humanity had sent spacecraft before, to the Moon, Mars, and even beyond the solar system. But this mission was different. This was not exploration. It was a first step into the universe itself. The engines of the Star Voyager roared to life, filling the atmosphere with vibration and sound. Slowly, the massive vessel lifted from the Earth's surface, ascending through the clouds. When it reached orbit, the planet below shrank to a small blue sphere. Aaron allowed himself a moment to appreciate the view. The Earth looked peaceful, unaware of the extraordinary journey humanity had begun. Once in deep space, the Star Voyager adjusted its course to follow the path indicated by the moving stars. The journey was smooth at first, but the vast distances meant that every small calculation mattered. Even a tiny misalignment could send the ship millions of kilometers off course. Ilara monitored the instruments closely. "The stars are moving in real time," she said. "We have to adjust constantly. It's like sailing through an ocean of light." For days, the crew marveled at the view outside the ship's windows. Stars moved in slow, deliberate patterns, glowing faintly against the darkness. It was beautiful, almost hypnotic, but also a reminder that they were venturing into the unknown. Then the first anomaly occurred. A ripple in space-time appeared ahead of the ship, faint but unmistakable. It shimmered like heat over a desert, bending the light of distant stars around it. Dr. Sienna Rao leaned forward. "It's a natural phenomenon. No, it's too structured to be natural. Something, or someone, is ahead of us." Aaron's eyes narrowed. "Are we in danger?" Sienna shook her head. "Not yet, but we are entering uncharted territory. The stars may guide us, but we have to be careful. This is not a normal part of the galaxy." As the ship approached the shimmering anomaly, instruments began to behave strangely. Gravity sensors fluctuated, time readings wavered, and energy readings spiked unpredictably. The crew felt the effects, too: slight disorientation, brief headaches, and the sensation that the ship was moving differently than it should. Kieran Soule worked frantically at the engine controls. "Everything is stable, Captain, but the propulsion is responding slower than expected. We're moving, but it feels off." Aaron nodded. "Adjust the navigation to compensate." "Follow the star map, exactly. We cannot lose the path." For hours, the Star Voyager moved cautiously through the shimmering anomaly. The crew watched the stars outside, following the geometric patterns they had memorized. It was like threading a needle across the vast fabric of space. Then, something extraordinary happened. A vision appeared outside the ship, like a window into another time. The crew saw vast cities of light, floating structures that defied the laws of physics, and beings of pure energy moving gracefully between the stars. Aaron blinked in disbelief. "Is this real?" Sienna shook her head. "I don't know. It may be a projection, a reflection of the energy field around the anomaly. But whatever it is, it's beautiful and advanced beyond anything we could imagine." The crew remained silent, staring at the vision. For a moment, fear and awe mixed together, filling them with wonder. Humanity had always dreamed of encountering alien life, but nothing could prepare them for this. After passing through the anomaly, the visions disappeared, leaving only the stars, slowly moving along their predetermined path. The crew exhaled collectively, relieved to be back in normal space. Alara studied the instruments. "The anomaly was like a gateway," she said. "It may have been a test, or perhaps a way to prepare us for what lies ahead. The stars guided us safely through it." Aaron nodded. "Then we continue. Humanity is on a journey, and nothing will stop us now." Days turned into weeks as the Star Voyager followed the star map. The crew faced isolation, exhaustion, and the mental strain of deep space travel. But each night, they looked out at the stars and remembered why they were there. They were not just following patterns of light. They were following a promise. "We'll return." One day, the ship passed through a region of dense cosmic dust. The sensors detected faint structures embedded within the clouds, shapes that suggested intelligent design. Towers of light, floating in space, as if someone had built them to be invisible until the right observers arrived. Jalen Marks studied the shapes carefully. "These are symbols," he said. "They are not random. They communicate something, though I cannot yet translate the meaning." Aaron considered the possibilities. "Perhaps it's a message from those who left the original signal. Something to guide civilizations that are ready to follow." As they traveled further, the crew noticed other signs of intelligence. Minor energy bursts, shifts in gravitational fields, and faint harmonic sounds in the void seemed to respond to the ship's presence. It was as if the galaxy itself were alive, watching and waiting for humanity to prove itself capable. Despite the unknown, the crew remained focused. They calculated every maneuver, monitored every reading, and relied on each other's expertise. In the quiet moments, they shared stories of Earth, dreams of the future, and hopes that the journey would change not only their lives, but the fate of humanity itself. One night, as the Star Voyager glided past a distant cluster of stars, Aaron called the crew to the observation deck. "Look," he said, pointing to the view outside. The stars ahead were moving faster now, forming clear lines and shapes, like a glowing river leading deeper into the galaxy. For the first time, the crew saw the gateway the stars were pointing toward, a shimmering, almost invisible doorway in space, pulsating with energy and light. Ilara's eyes widened. "This is it. The path ends here. Beyond this, something waits for us." The crew fell silent, understanding the gravity of the moment. They were about to step into a region of space no human had ever seen, guided by the moving stars, following a promise left long ago. Aaron took a deep breath. "We don't know what lies ahead. But we have the stars and we have each other. We follow the path and we face whatever comes. Humanity has always reached for the unknown. Now we take the next step." As the Star Voyager approached the shimmering gateway, the stars outside seemed to pulse brighter. guiding the ship safely toward the threshold. The crew felt a mix of fear, excitement, and awe. The journey was no longer just about following a map. It was about meeting the unknown, about stepping into a future written among the stars. And somewhere far away, beyond the reaches of light and time, the presence that had sent the message watched patiently, waiting for humanity to take that first step into a larger universe. The journey had begun. Humanity was no longer a small, isolated species on a pale blue dot. It was now a participant in the vast story of the stars. And as the Star Voyager passed through the gateway, leaving the familiar galaxy behind, the crew knew one thing for certain. They were about to discover wonders beyond imagination, and the universe would never be the same again. The stars continued to move, lighting a path for those brave enough to follow, whispering an ancient promise that had waited for centuries. We'll return, and now it is your turn to explore. The Star Voyager emerged from the shimmering gateway into a part of the galaxy unlike anything humanity had ever imagined. Outside the windows, the stars no longer appeared as points of light. Instead, they floated in strange, elegant formations, glowing softly in colors that no human eye had names for. The patterns seemed alive, shifting and pulsing as if breathing. Captain Aaron Vale stood on the bridge, gripping the railing as awe and disbelief filled him. This isn't a galaxy as we know it, he whispered. Dr. Alara Tovey nodded, her eyes wide. It's a civilization left behind. Not living, not in the way we know life, but a record. A presence that shaped the stars themselves. The crew fell silent, staring out at the wonders that surrounded them. There were massive structures floating in the void, towers, rings, and bridges of light that defied physics. Some rotated slowly, while others hovered in place as if suspended by invisible hands. Dr. Sienna Rao adjusted the instruments. The energy readings here, they are incredible. It's as if the stars themselves are alive, powered by a civilization that once mastered the cosmos. Jalen Marks, the linguist, traced the patterns in the stars with his fingers on the holographic map. These formations, they're not random. They are messages, symbols left to guide intelligent species, like a roadmap across the universe. Aaron's voice was calm, but his eyes held fire. Then we follow them, every step of the way. We are the first humans to reach this place, and we must understand it. The Star Voyager moved carefully, following the star patterns. As they passed near one massive ring of light, the ship's instruments detected something extraordinary. A data archive embedded in the energy field of the ring itself. Ilara's hands flew over the controls. It's an alien archive. It's ancient but still active. Whoever left this, they planned for us to find it. The crew gathered around as Aaron activated the archive. Holographic images filled the bridge, showing star systems, massive cities of light, and beings composed of pure energy moving gracefully among the stars. Jalen studied the symbols and data streams, trying to interpret them. These beings, he said slowly, they existed millions of years ago. They were aware of cosmic events that could destroy worlds. They left a guide, a way to survive, to advance, for civilizations that could learn, like ours. The crew exchanged awed glances. The message, "We'll return," was no longer a mystery. It was a promise, a warning, and a gift. Aaron looked out at the stars. They are telling us. We are ready to join them, to learn from them. We are not alone anymore. As they explored further, the Star Voyager passed through energy fields that felt almost alive. Lights pulsed in rhythm, reacting to the ship's movements. Gravity seemed to bend gently around certain structures, and the laws of physics, as humanity knew them, behaved differently here. Sienna Rao spoke softly. This place, it's a classroom, a library, a laboratory of the universe itself. They left it for species that were ready to grow, to understand the cosmos beyond survival. Arin nodded. And we are ready. Humanity has followed the stars, decoded their patterns, and reached this place. It is our responsibility to learn and to share that knowledge. For days, the crew studied the alien data. They discovered methods to harness energy efficiently, travel across vast distances in short times, and even manipulate gravity safely. Each discovery filled them with awe. They realized how small and limited humanity had been, and how much potential lay ahead. Then something remarkable happened. From the depths of the energy fields, massive alien vessels appeared. They were enormous, composed of glowing structures that shimmered like liquid light. Yet there was no sign of hostility. The vessels moved gracefully, almost like guardians watching the newcomers. Arin stepped forward. They know we are here. They are observing us, but they are not attacking. They are waiting, testing, perhaps, to see if we are worthy. Ilara studied the readings. Their presence feels calm, not threatening. It's as if they are acknowledging us, recognizing that we followed the path, that we are capable of understanding their message. The crew continued to explore, mapping the structures and energy flows. Every discovery revealed that the civilization that left this place had considered every possible challenge: catastrophic cosmic events, unstable stars, black holes. Everything had been anticipated. The archive contained warnings, solutions, and instructions for survival. Jalen Marks traced the symbols once more. They speak of balance, of cooperation. They left this for civilizations that could rise above fear, work together, and reach for the stars responsibly. Arin turned to the crew. That is our mission now. Not just exploration, not just survival, but growth. Humanity has followed the stars to this place. Now we must learn everything we can and return with knowledge so the message spreads across Earth. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected movement nearby. A small, glowing vessel approached the Star Voyager. It was unlike anything the crew had seen, smooth, radiant, with no visible engines or thrusters. Ilara gasped, "It's alive, or something like it, and it's coming toward us." Arin steadied himself. "Stay calm. Let's observe. We do not know their intentions." The vessel hovered near the Star Voyager, emanating a soft hum that resonated through the ship. A form emerged, composed of light and energy, humanoid in shape, but clearly not human. It radiated intelligence, awareness, and curiosity. The crew held their breath. This was the first direct contact with the civilization that had sent the message. Then, the being communicated, not with words, but with patterns of light, flowing through the ship's systems, into the minds of the crew. Each person understood the message clearly. We prepared for you. You have followed the path. You are worthy. Learn, grow, and share. Arin nodded, feeling a deep sense of connection. We understand. We are ready to learn. The alien being gestured toward the nearest archive structure. Holographic interfaces lit up, displaying complex energy flows, star maps, and scientific data beyond anything humanity had ever conceived. Sienna Rao's hands trembled as she absorbed the information. This could change everything. Travel, energy, even our understanding of life itself. Jalen studied the symbols again. It is a gift, but also a responsibility. They expect us to use this knowledge wisely, to prepare for the challenges of the galaxy, and to ensure survival. For weeks, the crew worked alongside the alien archives, learning and recording everything. They discovered ways to stabilize stars, prevent cosmic disasters, and manipulate energy fields safely. They learned that the stars' movement had been a guide, a test, and an invitation all at once. Ilara turned to Arin one day. "Captain, the message, 'We'll return.' It's no longer a mystery. They were preparing civilizations like ours for the future. And now, we are the first to follow the path fully. Aaron smiled, a mixture of pride and humility in his expression. Yes, and we must ensure humanity is ready. This knowledge, it must not be wasted. We have a responsibility now, not just to ourselves, but to the entire galaxy. As the Star Voyager prepared to leave the alien region, the glowing beings and structures seemed to watch them depart, not with judgment, but with expectation. The message had been delivered, and the crew had proven themselves capable. Outside, the stars continued to pulse and move, forming intricate patterns that had guided humanity this far. The crew looked out at them one last time before setting course back to Earth, carrying knowledge and hope that could change the course of history. Aaron spoke quietly, almost to himself. We followed the stars. We understood the message. And now, we return. Not alone, but with purpose. Ilara nodded. The universe is bigger than we imagined, but now humanity has a place in it. And the stars will always guide us if we remember to follow them. As the Star Voyager moved away from the alien region, the crew felt a mixture of awe, responsibility, and hope. Humanity had been prepared, guided, and tested by a civilization far older and wiser. The message, "We'll return," was no longer just words. It was a promise, a guide, and a challenge. The stars continued to move, lighting a path for those brave enough to follow, whispering across light years and centuries, "We'll return. And now, it is your turn to grow." Humanity had taken the first step into a larger universe, and when they returned to Earth, they would bring more than knowledge. They would bring hope, unity, and the proof that even among the vast stars, humanity could rise. The journey home was quiet, but heavy with purpose. The Star Voyager glided through the starlit void, carrying humanity's first true knowledge of the wider galaxy. The crew, once small explorers, now bore the responsibility of a civilization's hope. Every instrument, every holographic record, and every pattern of alien energy they carried was a step toward a future none had yet imagined. Captain Aaron Vale stood on the bridge, watching the stars move in the familiar patterns that had guided them here. "The stars led us to the truth," he said softly, "and now we return to share it." Dr. Ilara Tovi looked at him, exhaustion and exhilaration etched on her face. "The knowledge we carry, it can change everything. Energy, medicine, even travel across the stars. Humanity will need to learn patience and wisdom to use it." The crew spent the long voyage reviewing everything they had learned. They recorded detailed instructions, diagrams, and translations from the alien archives. Every day they trained, discussed, and prepared for the world they would return to, a world that would never be the same. The universe outside seemed alive, as if it recognized humanity's growth. Subtle pulses of energy from distant stars mirrored the rhythm of the Star Voyager, almost like the galaxy itself was acknowledging their presence. One day, Jalen Marks, the linguist, spoke quietly to Aaron. "Captain, I think the message 'We'll return' has another meaning. It isn't just from them. Now we are returning, and in a way, we are fulfilling it. We carry their legacy, their guidance, and we are returning it to Earth." Aaron nodded, understanding the depth of the moment. "Yes, we are the bridge between humanity and the wider universe. Our journey isn't over, it's just beginning." The closer they came to the solar system, the more signs of human life became visible. Cities sparkled like constellations on the planet below, unaware of how close their future had come to changing forever. As the Star Voyager entered orbit, the crew prepared to transmit their discoveries. Global communication networks were ready to receive their message. Aaron activated the broadcast system. This is Captain Aaron Vale, aboard the Star Voyager. His voice carried across every frequency. We have followed the path indicated by the stars. We have encountered an advanced civilization, learned their guidance, and now we return with knowledge and hope. Humanity is ready to grow, to unite, and to explore the universe responsibly. The message we received, "We'll return," is no longer a warning. It is a promise fulfilled and a path forward for all of us. Across the planet, people stopped, stared, and listened. Children held hands with parents, communities gathered in open spaces, and humanity collectively felt the weight and the hope of the moment. News outlets immediately reported the Star Voyager's findings. The images of alien structures, the data of energy patterns, and the maps of the moving stars stunned the world. Governments, scientists, and ordinary people alike realized that humanity was no longer alone, and that the universe was filled with knowledge and life far beyond their imagination. Dr. Sienna Rao and Lieutenant Kiran Sol worked with global teams to interpret the alien instructions. Energy sources previously thought impossible became plausible. Methods to navigate safely through space emerged. The star's movement, once mysterious, was understood as both guidance and teaching, showing humanity not just where to go, but how to think about the universe. Despite the excitement, Aaron reminded everyone to remain humble. We are small, but capable. The stars have guided us here, but it is our responsibility to use this knowledge wisely. We must grow, not just technologically, but morally and socially. That is the true test of what we have learned. As humanity prepared to implement the alien guidance, something unexpected occurred. The moving stars in the night sky above Earth shifted once more, forming a luminous pattern that could be seen with the naked eye. Constellations rearranged, glowing softly, almost like a final greeting from the beings who had set this entire journey in motion. Ilara and Aaron observed it from the observatory. "It's beautiful," she said, "and deliberate. They are acknowledging our return." "Yes," Aaron replied, "and reminding us that the universe is alive and that our choices matter." The first steps were cautious. Nations cooperated to harness the alien energy methods. Cities began to experiment with safer, cleaner power. Communication systems expanded beyond Earth, with satellites and probes built to follow the guidance of the stars. Humanity had learned patience and discipline, understanding that knowledge without responsibility could be dangerous. Meanwhile, the story of the Star Voyager's journey inspired a new generation. Children dreamed not only of reaching the Moon or Mars, but of following the stars to places no human had ever imagined. Universities and research centers thrived with students eager to learn the ways of the universe, inspired by the courage of those who had followed the moving stars. Aaron and Ilara led discussions worldwide, emphasizing unity, exploration, and wisdom. "We cannot rush," Aaron told the Global Assembly. "The universe teaches slowly, but it rewards those who listen carefully. We must take every lesson to heart, so that when we follow the stars again, we are ready for the challenges ahead." Even as the world adjusted to this new understanding, the Star Voyager prepared for its next mission. It would not be alone. Humanity had learned to work together, to trust knowledge, and to respect the galaxy. The next journey would be longer, more ambitious, but humanity was ready. The stars continued to move, forming patterns that no telescope could fully capture. But now, Earth was awake, watching, learning, and growing. The message, "We'll return," had been fulfilled in a way no one could have predicted. The universe had called, humanity had answered, and the story was far from over. One evening, Aaron stood alone on the observation deck of the Star Voyager. He gazed at the stars, moving in perfect rhythm, each pulse echoing through the blackness. He felt a sense of peace and purpose. "They waited for us," he whispered, "and now we are ready. We will return, stronger, wiser, and together. Alara joined him silently, sharing the view. "The universe is vast," she said, "but we are no longer small. We are part of it now, and it is part of us. The stars are guides, not just for travel, but for understanding. We must follow them with care." The two stood in silence as the Star Voyager drifted above Earth, the planet below glowing softly. Humanity had been tested, guided, and prepared. Now it was time to grow, to learn, and to step boldly into the future the stars had promised. Across the world, millions watched the sky, seeing the stars shift in patterns that told the story of guidance, challenge, and hope. They knew that humanity was part of something greater, something eternal. And somewhere far beyond, the civilization that had left the message smiled in ways humans could not perceive. They had watched patiently for millennia, and at last, humanity had answered. The Star Voyager slowly descended, returning not just explorers but knowledge, wisdom, and the promise of a future among the stars. Earth welcomed them with awe and celebration, but also with understanding. Humanity had been given a gift, and with it, a responsibility. The stars continued to move. The universe waited patiently. And humanity, small yet capable, ready yet humble, had begun its true journey. The final words of the message echoed across time and space, now fully understood. "We'll return, and now you will follow. Together you will rise." Humanity had followed the stars, and for the first time it knew that the stars had always been waiting, not to frighten, not to warn, but to guide. The future was bright, and the universe was open. Humanity would step into it, not as wanderers, but as explorers, learners, and guardians of knowledge. And so, the story of the moving stars, the message, and the first brave journey into the unknown came to its first conclusion. But in every heart, every telescope, and every mind that looked to the night sky, the adventure had only just begun.